Hello, I'm Evan.
And I'm Paul.
We're members of the Gulf Coast Spirit Society. Today, we're going to be tasting the newest release from John Glazier and Compass Box. It's called the Spaniard.
Yeah, it's inspired by the Spaniard bar in New York. They've been actually doing those kind of one-off bespoke blends for different bars and groups, and they decided to go ahead and make a version of it to be part of their core lineup. Most of the components are aged in either sherry or red wine casks from Spain, hence Spaniard.
Mm-hmm. So I know they did another one for a bar. Another famous one was the Lilas, but this is the first one that's actually made it into their core lineup, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Let's try it out.
Yeah, about half of the blend is aged in sherry barrels, and then about a quarter of the blend is aged in the red wine casks.
I can smell the nose already, man.
Yeah, the sherry influence is definitely immediately noticeable.
Yeah. So this wasn't finished twice. It was finished separately and then blended together.
Yeah. So as with a lot of Compass Box, it's all blends of some kind, either blended malts or blended scotch. And this is blended malt, which means it's a blend of a bunch of different single malts. So there's no grain whiskey that's blended in, which is the difference in blended scotch.
Yeah.
There's different kind of like parcels that they did, and then married it together.
So let's get into the nose. Yeah,
Yep.
I get sherry right off the bat.
Yeah, my guess would be, because I was looking at the blend breakdown, and it said Aberlour, and pretty confident Aberlour uses Oloroso in pretty much all of theirs. So that would be my guess, because I don't really get PX, that like heavy
That's
syrup.
Syrupy sweet.
Yeah, but it's definitely, sherry is definitely strong in there.
But it's interesting because the color's not like super red or anything like that. It's got a really nice color, actually. Very nice, like golden or bronze.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I get some oak. I get the sherry, obviously, but
yeah, with sherry, aged or finished scotches, you always get the kind of dark dried fruits, the raisins, the prunes. Yeah, it's not all. You get a little bit of a brightness that you don't normally get.
I was
from
about
like
to say, you do get the raisins, but you also get kind of like golden raisins or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all dark fruits. That's nice, man. It's also not like super lively, like say like a standard Glenmorangie or something where you get like a little bit of that orange zest or anything like that. It's actually really, really balanced.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of single malt brands in the blend that I really love. I like Aberlour, love Kleinleach,
I like both of
Deanston,
those.
and all that.
I'm gonna go in for a taste. Ooh, I get more malt than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite Edredor level of malt, but but almost like a little tiny bit of like beer flavor.
Yeah, you get that sweet and sour.
Yeah,
it's not strong in your face sherry as like the nose would kind of almost lead you to believe it is. Yeah, it's more balanced.
Way more subtle. Yeah, I was thinking it was going to be a sherry bomb from the nose. But immediately I got it like a little bit of the sherry, but then I got malt.
Yeah.
which was, you know, it was welcome, definitely.
Yeah, and as the longer I've been a Scotch fan, the more and more I actually like those really heavy malt Scotches. The ones that are, you know, used to be more that companies use as like blending malts, and because, you know, what else they would blend with it would offset that heavy malt, but now you're starting to see them in their own lines and in independent bottlings, and I've really there's certain distilleries that I really come to like because of that heavy malt note.
And that's one of the things that Compass Box is great at, is that they can really use that as kind of a recipe to, you know, they'll start something off and say, well, this needs a little more maltiness, and they have all these parcels of stuff that they can get it to taste exactly how they want it to taste.
Yeah.
And this is pretty good, actually. That nose is so sherry that you expect it to be a sherry bomb.
Yeah, and on the back end of the finish, I do get the wine influence that kind of comes to the front of the tongue. That kind of dry, kind of almost sweet red, which I don't have a lot of experience with, like Spanish, like Rioja and stuff like that, but I can kind of taste it. Like I said, having you taste the Artine, you like kind of see a little bit.
A little bit. It's not quite as fruity, but it's reminiscent. But man, I'm really more impressed with the malt, man. I'm getting it's a very nice malt, because I've tasted some that are just like super malty, where they've turned me off a little bit, and it's hard to find one that's quite this balanced, where you get the sherry, you get a little bit of the fruitiness, and then you get the malt, and it kind of hits you in little stages. It's not, I don't know, man. It's like some of them you praise for their balance, of where their flavors are so well mingled, and because there's some that are really separate, that are just train wrecks. But this one's like takes you through a little, you know, like a little story, where you get the sherry, then you get the malt, you get a little oak, and it's very nice, man.
I mean, John Glazier is a master of balance. He,
for sure.
It's anyone that ever asked me for Scotch recommendations, if I don't give a Compass Box line immediately, it's going to be in my recommendations. I know Spice Tree is my go-to recommendation for any bourbon drinker wanting to get into Scotch, because I think there's the oak and vanilla notes that are in it are kind of a nice bridge to the malt and the sweet and sour that's in there. But yeah, this one is nice, and I thought from the nose and the color, I was expecting it to be way more on the heavily sherried side, but I was very pleasantly surprised in how balanced it is with the other components in it.
And even when you first taste it, it comes on like a sherry bomb, but it quickly kind of dissipates.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Compass Box. Spice Tree is one of my favorites as well. I love the baking spice kind of deal that Spice Tree's got going. About the only two Compass Box that I haven't been a huge fan of was the Lost Blend and the No Name, and that's just because they're peat bombs. Yeah. You know what I mean? More so than the Peat Monster. But even those, I have no trouble recommending to somebody that likes peat.
Oh, if they like peat, because that the No Name, why that was such a kind of a turnoff for some people, is it has Ardbeg in it.
Yeah, that is a peat bomb.
And but like Flaming Heart has a lot of peat to it, but it's very balanced with like creamy notes, and like you were saying, Peat Monster. It like the name is Peat Monster, but it's not crazy.
Not at all. I was expecting when I tasted it, I was kind of scared. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like, you know, just a peat monster. And then I was like, oh wait a minute, that's kind of creamy. It's actually kind of good, you know. But then I got a little brave and got the no name, and then I was like, whoa, this is still out of my league.
Yeah, whenever I saw that Ardbeg was in the blend for that one, I was like, I don't know. Like, I know they use Colila in a lot of their blends for like Flaming Heart, and I think it's in Peat Monster too. And it's not as in your face like creosote as like Ardbeg is, but yeah, this doesn't have any peat at all, you know.
Nothing.
And a lot of their core range doesn't, and that's why recommend ones to them, because for a beginner Scotch drinker, peat can be such a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people, when they tell you that they don't like Scotch, it's because somebody served them like a Lagavulin or something.
Scotch here.
And so that's what people, whenever some people envision Scotch in their mind, they think smoky peat. And that's just not true. I mean, that's definitely a large segment with all the Isla brands, but I mean, there's so many out there, Glenmorangie, Balvenie, that are very popular. Glenfiddich, they're very popular that don't have a trace of peat in them. So
yeah, well, man, I have to say I'm really impressed by it. I was not expecting that. The kind of balance it has, the flavors are all really nice, and I don't, it's being that it's part of their core lineup, it's pretty easily accessible, price wise and stock wise. So I think this would be a good choice for anyone. Like I said, I like to recommend Spice Tree, but I think for someone that's looking for something a little sherry, this would be a great thing to try.
It will be something just like a lot of Compass Box products that I will definitely keep in my. I will always have a bottle. It's just like Spice Tree. I will always make sure I have a bottle in my lineup. I mean, as you can see, I already started putting a dent in it.
Yeah.
But I was very happy whenever I heard that they were making it a core range, because even from the one-off bespoke one, I was seeing a lot of talk about. So I'd be curious if I could ever get my hands on one of those to try it, to see what the difference is between that and this. But I think it's an outstanding addition to their core lineup, and I think a lot of Scotch drinkers are going to like it. And again, I think this could be one that beginning Scotch drinkers would like too.
Good deal. Well, Compass Box, the Spaniard, man, and also they never skimp on the labels. These guys.
They're the company that they use for their graphic design on all of their labels. I mean, all you have to do is go to a store that has, a wide selection of Compass Boxes.
Yeah.
Just start looking at their labels.
Yeah.
I mean, they're phenomenal labels.
And I used to be one that subscribed to the philosophy of, oh man, if that label's too pretty, they're really trying to hide something.
They're trying to dress,
Yeah, but that has not been the case with any Compass Box.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So I would say this is a very good bottle.